The Panic of 1907. Wall Street's near-death financial crisis. The calm before the storm. It was an era of booming prosperity in early 1900s, America. Skyscrapers were rising, the stock market was soaring, and people believed America's financial future was unshakable. Banks were lending freely, trusts were growing larger, and speculative bets were everywhere. No one on Wall Street saw the cracks forming beneath their feet. Sektu, speculation and warning signs. Hidden beneath the glitter, risky financial practices had taken root. Brokerage houses were extending huge credits. Trusts were operating loosely. Some banks were over-leveraged, relying on borrowed money. Meanwhile, confidence in lesser-known banks and trust companies started teetering. If one trust failed, others might follow. But most investors ignored those whispers. Greed and optimism drowned worry. Third, the trigger. Knickerbocker Trust falls. In October 1907, the spark was sudden. An attempt to corner the market on a copper company failed, triggering losses for many who had bet heavily. But then things got worse. The Knickerbocker Trust Company, one of New York City's largest, collapsed. Depositors panicked. Rumors spread like wildfire. Withdrawals surged. Banks that had exposure to Knickerbocker were left exposed. 4. Panic spreads across the city. Once Knickerbocker went under, the entire trust system shook. Depositors lost faith. Banks and trust companies faced runs. Money that had been flowing freely was now being hoarded. Stocks fell. Businesses couldn't get short-term credit. Factories slowed. Workers lost wages. Everyday lives were hit, not just Wall Street big fish. VJP Morgan steps in. At this point, the government apparatus to handle such a crisis was weak. No Federal Reserve yet. No big safety net. Into the breach stepped one man, J.P. Morgan. He gathered rival bankers, convinced them to put up their own money, coordinated rescue efforts, and personally infused liquidity where needed. Morgan negotiated with trust companies, helped stabilize major banks, and restored some calm, but only barely. 6. Lessons and reform. After the panic subsided, America could not pretend things were fine. Investigations revealed how fragile the financial system was. In response, reforms were proposed. More oversight over trusts, requirements for banks to maintain reserves, and calls for a central banking system. A few years later, in 1913, the Federal Reserve System was established, partly because of what happened in 1907. 7. The hidden power. What makes the Panic of 1907 a powerful story isn't just the financial devastation. It's how a few powerful individuals and institutions held the fate of a nation in their hands. A single trust's collapse could cascade into national panic. The story reveals that in finance, control often lies not with politicians, but with bankers, with confidence, with debt. All invisible until they crack. Why it matters today. We think of modern crashes, 2008 or bubbles, and assume they are new, unique. But the Panic of 1907 shows patterns: over-leveraging, speculative excess, lack of regulation, and the danger of trusting financial systems without backbone. Today's financial vulnerabilities echo those from over a century ago. Understanding 1907 is like understanding the root causes of every modern financial crisis.